Hey guys,
what's going on?
What's up? We are here at the beautiful Attic Brewing Company here in Germantown in Philly. We are so grateful that they are having these events today and allowing us to join them. Of course,
shout out to Billy Avery.
Shout out to Billy Avery.
Indeed.
Big thank you to Labor of Love and Sean Henderson Presents for allowing us to come in. This is the Wrestlejawn kickoff show.
Yes.
Where we are going to get you ready for tonight's major show here at Attic Brewing Company. Wrestlejawn, the first of two shows. There will be Wrestlejawn tonight and Euphoria tomorrow night. So we're here to run down the card, talk about what's going on. We are the Opinion City Podcast. I am your host, King Ralph. With me is my co-host, as always,
Parmesan.
Absolutely. So we are in the house. we are ready to do this. We're going to get you ready for the show tonight. Do not forget, after the show is over as well, we will be presenting a post show. Where we will be talking all the happenings here. We'll be talking about what went down, who won the championship. That'll be a big one. And then, of course, we're going to have we'll interview with the new champion, whoever that may be,
champ,
on the debut of our fireside chat with the champ. So we're super excited for that. That's going to be really cool. So obviously, as you may have seen online, Wrestlejawn is sold out, brother.
Yeah, dude,
this show is a sellout.
This is sold out. If you didn't get your tickets, there are still some available out the door. But it is no longer being sold online.
It is very limited at this point.
Get your tickets, get them at the door.
Yes.
You don't want to miss the show. It's going to be ridiculous.
Yes. And of course, if you are not in the Philly area, if you are anywhere in the world watching this right now and you cannot be here tonight at 5:30 for Wrestlejawn, we got you covered. You can head over to independentwrestling.tv, sign up for Independent Wrestling TV.
Get on that.
Honestly, there's hundreds of promotions.
Too many.
Thousands and thousands of hours on IWTV for you to watch. And you get to see Wrestlejawn tonight. You get to see Euphoria tomorrow night. You get to see all the other events that are happening this weekend that IWTV is covering. They're everywhere. Honestly, if you are a wrestling fan, IWTV is one of the best, absolute best things you can have.
Absolutely.
The value for the money is absolutely unbelievable. As far as streaming services go, if you're a wrestling fan, you got to have this one, and it gets you the show tonight. So very exciting stuff.
Super exciting.
I can tell you before we get into the matches here, we did get a sneak peek. We got to hold in our hands the
citywide championship. It's a thing of beauty.
It is
a thing of beauty.
It is a beautiful belt, and we're super excited to see a champion crown tonight. So let's go ahead and just run down the card quickly, and then we're gonna get into each match. We do have a pre-show match today that's taking place. Mookie Summers is taking on Ryan Redfield. Yes, so we have that. We've got a huge 8-man tag tonight.
Massive.
Just absolutely massive. Got a lot of stuff to talk about there. We've got our first of two 6-man tag matches with the returning Sean Henderson. So we'll get into that one as well. We've got a great singles match.
It's gonna be a good one.
LJ Cleary.
It's gonna be a good one.
Very excited for that one. We have a number 1 contenders match. Whoever wins that title tonight, they are going to be busy because tomorrow they are going to have to defend that title.
Belt.
The very first defense at Euphoria. Unbelievable. And I don't want to spoil anything right now, but we've got some late breaking news that we'll get into when we get to some discussion on the number 1 contenders match. Then, of course, we have our
huge
second
match
of the 2 6-man tag matches, and this one,
Lucha Rules.
Lucha Rules. This is a Lucha Rules grudge match.
This is going to be an insane match,
and we'll get into specifics on this. But if you have been following them online, if you have been watching their socials,
there's been beef.
This thing has gotten heated. That's why I call it a grudge match, because these guys are ready to go. They're fired up. So we'll get into all the specifics on that as we get into each of the cards a little bit.
Yep.
Another huge singles match, Colby Carino and Clint Margera.
This show is just gonna be nuts. Like each match, it's like it's almost as if one tops the other. There's no bad match. It just keeps
getting better and better. And then the two matches that I'm most excited for,
the two that everyone wants to see.
Yes. First off, and I think this one has a possibility of stealing Mania weekend.
I was gonna say, not even just the night, just the whole weekend.
The whole weekend.
Mike Bailey versus Paul London.
This is incredible.
This is almost like a dream match, if you will. Like, who would have thought that? I mean, I didn't even know that Mr. London was still wrestling. Listen, honestly,
he's out there. He's killing it, and so we've got a huge matchup tonight. I mean, if you don't have independentwrestling.tv, if you don't have IWTV yet, this right here,
this should be the reason why.
That's a reason to go get it.
Absolutely.
But that is not the only reason, because
we got main event, baby.
Tonight in our main event, Labor of Love is crowning their first ever citywide champion.
Mm-hmm.
Not only is Labor of Love taking over Philadelphia, not only is Labor of Love becoming one of, if not the absolute premier organization for professional wrestling in the city of Philadelphia.
Mm-hmm.
They are bringing it back, and they are crowning their first champion tonight. And this is a huge one. The people that are in this match.
If you didn't go and see these citywide specials, man, get caught up on that right now, because it was so good. And to get to where we are now with Weber, Hatfield, and Cheeseburger, you have to go watch it.
It's unbelievable.
Got to go see how we got here.
Yes.
But yeah, this is going to be a huge match. First ever champion. Honestly, I think these two shows are probably the biggest shows of the whole week.
These honestly are huge shows. I mean, we're not discounting anybody else. There's a lot of great wrestling going on this week, but these are absolutely huge shows.
Bangers.
All happening here at Attic Brewing Company in Germantown. And it's just gonna be a fantastic night. Come out, get some food, have some drinks, get Big
Dan's beer.
Get
Big
Dan
beer.
Champions IPA is here. That released 2 weeks ago, was it now? We were here for the release party. So there's a whole bunch of things going on here tonight. And again, if you can't be here live, IWTV is your next best bet, because that is going to get
on
you
that
all the coverage.
This is a cannot miss show. Whether you're here or watching it at home, you cannot miss this show.
Exactly. All right. So let's
run down the card,
here.
Shall we?
All right. So we're going to talk about the big 8-man tag. We've got on one side, we've got Big Calix. We've got the Crusher.
Mm-hmm.
We've got Duncan Aleem.
Yep.
And Shay McCoy are taking on the formidable team of Kurt Robinson, who is filling in for an injured wrestler. He jumped in and said, "I'll join the team."
Yep.
And he's teaming with Harleen Lopez, Logan Black, and Vita Von Star.
Yeah, this is gonna be a crazy match.
It is quite a match. So let's talk a little bit about this one. So
let's go.
Let's take our first team. So we've got Big Calix. If you don't know who Big Calix is, he tells you that he is the world's largest wrestler alive.
Yeah.
He was formerly known as Calix the Castigator in his Chikara days.
Yes.
Coming to us from Minnesota. We last saw him in Labor of Love back in 2023, teaming with the Outfielders. So he has some familiarity with Shay. Again, they were both in Chikara as well, but Big Calix is a big powerhouse wrestler. And if you don't know, if you don't know anything about Calix, here's an interesting fact. Calix was recently seen portraying the Shockmaster on John Tenta's episode of Dark Side of the Ring.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He was the Shockmaster. So definitely some interesting facts there, getting some eyes on him. And here's the thing: he has a dual product of both the Wrestle Factory and the Worldwide Wrestling Dojo. We're going to hear that a lot tonight. So that's, again, a lot of connections to other wrestlers and things going on here. And he is teaming with the Crusher, who is, again, we're going to be saying this over and over again, but another product of the Worldwide Dojo. And the Crusher has been seen in Labor of Love and High Tension Wrestling, and the Crusher adds a very chaotic style to this match. So another great piece of the team. Then they're teaming with Duncan Aleem, and Duncan calls himself the Soul Survivor. He was a graduate of the final class of the H2O Academy. He's currently tag teaming in the South Street Survivors with fellow H2O graduate Brian Neal. Now, they have a big match tomorrow night for Smash Master Wrestling and BYO Wrestling's From the Woods to the Hood. So, it'll be interesting to see where his focus is, if he's kind of, being on an 8-man tag. Is he looking through this match? Is he thinking about tomorrow night? Hopefully his full attention will be on this match here. But of course, we've seen him a lot of places, H2O, High Tension Wrestling. And interestingly enough, Duncan Aleem, if you haven't seen the Labor of Love citywide specials where it showed you exactly how we got to the finals here, you definitely want to go check those out. And I got to tell you, there are going to be some spoilers here. We already know that Weber and Cheeseburger are in the finals. But interestingly enough, Duncan Aleem was in a battle royal to qualify for the Labor of Love Citywide Tournament, which he won. And then he lost to Dr. Ethan Wild of Wild LLC, who we will be talking about a little later. And finally, rounding out the team is Shay McCoy, who we had on the show previously. She tags in the outfielders with Weber Hatfield. Interestingly enough, it was Shay McCoy who Weber defeated to get into the finals. So a great match there. Again, on the city of the Labor of Love citywide specials, you don't want to miss those. That was a great match. But again, she made it to the semifinals, and she's just a very solid wrestler. She's so talented. She thrives in chaos, and according to her social media, she is looking to ruin the other team's day. That would be the perfect way for her to start off Mania week. She says, perfect way. All right, so we're gonna move to the next team. We've got Kurt Robinson, calls himself the CEO of the MAT. He's a mat technician who trained at Catchpoint with Drew Gulak. He's been wrestling for 9 years. Wow. We've recently seen him. He lost in the finals of the ECWA Super 8 tournament. To wrestling's richest prize, a 2-time winner of the tournament, Darius Carter. So there's no shame in
Darius Carter alone is just phenomenal talent.
No shame in losing there. No. He also recently won the Funk Legacy tournament for Crystal Coast Championship Wrestling, and Dory Funk Jr. was there in person to see that. So that's really cool. A great guy to step in and join the team. We have Harleen Lopez, Philadelphia's own Spiteful Brute. Trained by Avery Good, Sonny Defarge, and Cheeseburger. Again, another connection. We've seen her at a lot of places: Labor of Love, LVAC, everywhere, PPW, Fightertainment. She is 3LW, all over the place. Flying V. She's really making a name for herself, and she has a very hard-hitting style. She recently won a triple threat match at PPW that featured TNA star Zaya Brookside. There you go. Making big moves. She's making waves. Making moves. They are teaming with New York City's King of Chaos, the old man Logan himself, Logan Black. Now, Logan Black is the head trainer of the Technique to Training Wrestling Academy in Brooklyn, a 17-year vet of the sport, a regular at Blitzkrieg Pro. He previously has teamed with Vita Von Starr in Labor of Love. They had a win over the Outfielders, so he's familiar with her as a tag team partner and familiar with Shay. So they, have that familiarity, and he lost to Shay McCoy in the first round of the citywide title tournament, so he may be looking for some revenge here. I'm sure he is. All right, and then rounding out the team is Vita Von Starr, a 6-year vet who, again, trained at the Wrestle Factory, trained at Worldwide Dojo, is very familiar. A lot of connections. We last saw her actually versus Harleen Lopez. We did see her. She has a very high-flying style, and actually she is teaching a seminar on Friday, this coming Friday at Catchpoint in flip and body control. So, there you go. Hell yeah. There's a lot of personalities in this match. There's a lot of wrestling styles in this match. So I think this is going to be a really fun 8-man tag. I think we're going to get to see a lot of different things, and it's going to be fun for everyone, I think.
Absolutely.
All right, so moving on, we're going to talk about the 6-man tag match. Now, this match sees a returning Sean Henderson, who is coming back from an injury sustained in December. So he is making his return, and he has been trained by none other than Matt Tremont.
Legend.
He calls this the Dream Team, as he's bringing with him Jimmy Lloyd, who
another legend.
Jimmy Lloyd is a legend, and
yeah,
Jimmy Lloyd. The thing about him, he practically knows every style of wrestling, but he chooses to wrestle the style he chooses to wrestle. So he brings a lot to deathmatch wrestling. I like to say absolutely. I like to say he puts the wrestling in deathmatch wrestling,
because he's also just such a good wrestler as well. He's also good at just causing chaos and anarchy.
Absolutely. So he's been around 9 years now. He's known for his time in places like GCW, CZW. We recently saw him on the winning team of MLW's War Chamber. This year's War Chamber. He was a member of the Death Fighters alongside Akira, Jake Christ, and Raven. Now that's quite a team there.
Yeah, it is.
And they are teaming with the Chad, Captain 630, as he calls himself.
Yep, the Chad. Florida. I love his name.
Yes. Trained at Limitless Wrestling Dojo.
Yep.
And he's already making comments on socials about what flips he should be doing in this match.
All of them.
We've seen him in GCW. He's wrestled for No Peace Underground, and we've seen him a number of times at Sean Henderson Presents. And so they are taking on the team, beginning with the tag team Fresh Air from the Great White North of Canada. That's pro wrestling aficionado Big Boy Junior Benito and his tag team partner, pro dancer turned pro wrestler, the Hot Stepper McCrae Martin. And they've recently had a match with former WWE tag team, the Maximum Male Models. So they wrestled for Mystery Wrestling in Canada.
Yep.
So obviously they're getting seen. They held the IWS tag team titles for 210 days. Now, individually, they've been around 5 or 6 years, and they have been tagging together for 2 years. So, a solid tag team out of Canada coming down, teaming with Jaden Newman out of Tennessee. He is a member of the Coven of the Goat. So he's got 10 years experience. He's a great technical wrestler. Now, he describes himself as the unwavering moral compass of professional wrestling, illuminating the path with integrity and purpose. Some of his highlights, he's wrestled the last 2 nights for H2O Wrestling down here in Philly, and he's been in WXW in Germany. So a well-traveled wrestler rounding out that team. So again, we're seeing similar styles on one team, different styles on the other team, but I think it's, again, these 6-man tag matches are always so much fun because you get a little bit of everything for everybody.
Exactly.
So I think this one's going to be a really hot one. I think Sean Henderson's going to be fired up to be back from injury. Bringing his boys with him, Jimmy Lloyd and the Chad. I think, and I think this is going to be an interesting theme throughout the night. But we're seeing a number of deathmatch wrestlers that we're seeing them not in deathmatch capacity, and we've seen that in the past. So it'll be interesting to see how all that rounds out and how they're able to kind of adapt to maybe leaving the deathmatch at home a little bit. Who knows? Things could get a little crazy.
Right.
We're talking about some very different personalities here, so things could get just a little bit crazy. All right, so let's talk about our first singles match on the card we're talking about. That's Bobby Orlando and LJ Cleary. So,
what's with the goat?
Well,
what's with the goat?
Bobby Orlando. That is Bobby Jr.
Bobby Jr.
Bobby Jr. comes to the ring with him because he is the goatest of all time and professional wrestling's silly goose.
Right.
So let's talk a little bit about Bobby. So Bobby is a multi-time champion traveling up and down the East Coast.
Yep.
He's actually appeared on AEW a number of times in the last 2 years. He's been on Dark Elevation, Rampage. So he's had a lot of experience all over the place. He brings the comedy with him, but honestly, this guy is no joke in the ring. He's a high flyer with 7 years experience. He trained at Create Pro with Kurt Hawkins and Pat Buck. So if you know anything about those two names, you know that this guy may be doing the comedy. This guy may be, playing basketball with coffee carafes and like doing all the crazy stuff online and in the ring and bringing Bobby Jr. with him. But when he gets in the ring, this man is no joke.
Right. Absolutely.
He's got a very high flying style. So it'll be great to see him, because I think he's going to match up with LJ Clearly very well. LJ comes to us from Ireland. He's currently wrestling with Pro Wrestling Noah over in Japan. So it's interesting to get like some of that outside talent. He's one of the Ireland wrestlers we'll be talking about tonight. A 10-year vet. He trained at Fight Factory Pro and the School of Irish Wrestling. He's had a great showing in 2002 in AEW against Pac, which was an amazing match. The crowd was really behind him for that. So he's also scheduled for the Collective and CZW this week. So coming over from Ireland, he's really making the most out of his time here. So
absolutely,
I think these two are going to match up.
It's going to be definitely maybe even a sleeper match.
It could very well turn out to be. All right, so we know the main event is for the citywide championship. We know we're crowning a new champion. However, we've got another match tonight that's got some big implications on that match, and that is our number one contenders match.
Absolutely.
For the citywide championship, and the citywide champion, whoever that may be, Weber or Cheeseburger, they're going to have to defend this title tomorrow night against one of these folks. And we have some late breaking news, as we mentioned at the top of the show. We were informed today that there are a couple wrestlers unable to make it to this match. Unfortunately, Gabby Ortiz is not able to make it.
Yeah,
unfortunately, Kennedy Copeland is not able to make it, and Declan Grant is not able to make it. So, in their place, a replacement has been found.
Yes.
Might I say a golden replacement.
Amazing replacement.
The golden grappler himself, Travis Huckabee, has joined the match.
An amazing talent, an amazing get.
Yeah, a guy who started off, if you remember, he was a referee in Chikara, and his story was that he always wanted that match. Whether he was, the whole time he was a referee, he wanted to get in the ring and he wanted to wrestle.
Yeah.
So he went through the training, he did everything, finally making his debut in Chikara, having a great singles run, having a great tag team run with Solo Darling, and just really killing it on the indies after moving on from Chikara, and just he's a great addition to this match. But
absolutely a huge addition.
Let's hop in and talk about a few of the other names that are going to be in this match. So
obviously you got Big Dan Champion. Big Dan
Champion, who is celebrating his 40th birthday tomorrow here at Attic Brewing. At 5:00, we will be having the Big Dan birthday bash. Obviously, Big Dan's IPA is
going to be amazing.
But
here's delicious.
If you don't know Big Dan is the king of the Lehigh Valley. If you've ever been to the Lehigh Valley,
don't say that too much louder, because you might have someone else that might be thinking they're the king of the Lehigh Valley. I'm just saying.
I understand, but if you're from the Lehigh Valley, you know that Big Dan is the real champion of the Lehigh Valley. And after 21 years of wrestling, the man is going to retire in September. So this could be
sad year.
Yeah, this could be a last shot at a
do not miss your chance to see Big Dan wrestle before he is done skis.
Yeah, he's done in September. So who knows? This could be a final run for him. He's had some recent big matches, not only tagging with, but also feuding with Havoc over in PPW. And, for a long time, Big Dan was an evil person, aligning himself with some of the bad guys.
Definitely not a good guy for a while.
One Sidney Bacabella. And in 2023, Big Dan changed his ways, embraced the fans, and it has just been all go since that moment. So Big Dan looking to maybe have one
last run before he
one title
run,
a title run here in Labor Love before it's over. Joining him in this match is Dr. Ethan Wild, the CEO of Wild LLC, another Philly native. We've seen him in Labor of Love. We've seen him at the LVAC. We've seen him High Tension Wrestling, Smash Master Wrestling. He's been a mainstay in those companies. Interestingly enough, he was also in the citywide title tournament. He defeated Duncan Aleem, who we talked about a little earlier in the first round of the citywide tournament, and then lost to Cheeseburger in the semifinals on Cheeseburger's way to the title match. He is a current Campeonatos de Reinas with Brian Ace of Wild LLC. So, this is a guy that is he is every bit the heel. He is dastardly. You've always got to watch out for his tactics.
He's definitely he's got something going on.
It'll be interesting to see today whether he's on his own or if any member of the Wild LLC will be here as well, because they are, of course, always by his side. So we'll see how that pans out for him. Another participant in this match is the Infinite Eli Isom, coming out of Indiana with 7 years of background in wrestling. He was a graduate of the Ring of Honor Dojo back when Cheeseburger was a trainer there. So again, another link to Cheeseburger in tonight's card. He back in 2021, he had a great match for Ring of Honor with WWE's Dragon Lee. One of his standout matches, and he's had a number of appearances again for AEW, wrestling on AEW Dark and Dark Elevation, and he had an appearance, a match on Dynamite against one Ricky Starks. So another guy that's gotten some national eyes on him. So he brings a lot of interesting stuff to this match. Now, I mentioned earlier that we would be talking about some other people coming from Ireland as well, and this wrestler comes to us from Ireland by way of Compton. This is the ringleader, Jay Steins. He says that he is sweeter than iced tea and cooler than iced tea. This man is this is gangland. That's what we can say about him. He had a great 2023. So a very well-traveled wrestler, someone that we may not have seen a whole lot of, but we're really excited to see him in this match. And then finally rounding out, adding in Travis, we have Ryan Radix out of New Jersey.
Yep.
Now,
Jersey boy.
Now this is a 4-year veteran of wrestling who is very well known to those that are familiar with Sean Henderson Presents.
Right.
He has been called the heart and soul of Sean Henderson Presents.
Mm-hmm.
Matt Tremont called him the MVP of Sean Henderson Presents.
He has a lot of high monikers over there.
Yeah, he's been all over the place. He in the past year we've seen him at H2O, Intergender Bonanza, Interspecies Wrestling. So again, another well-traveled wrestler who brings just a different style to this match. So once again, Gabby Ortiz, Declan Grant, Kennedy Copeland out. Travis Huckabee in.
Travis is in.
Look
at that big face, big angry face.
Travis is.
Look at that guy.
All right. Now
yelling at the people.
Yes. All right. So the next match we're going to talk about, this is kind of, I don't want to say it's degenerated, but this is devolved into what I like to call the Lucha Rules grudge match, and that of course
this is going to be a huge match.
Is the Colony against the Cyberhawks. So let's these are mainstays on the independent East Coast scene again.
Mainstays in both. Also in Chikara.
Yes, coming from Chikara. So let's talk about these teams. You have the Colony and the Cyberhawks. Again, two of the most storied groups to really come out of Chikara Pro.
Legendary, if you will.
And tonight, it looks like they're going to write a new chapter in each of their books.
They were calling each other out on socials. It was heavy, man.
Yeah. So let's talk about the Colony first. So the Colony has quite the history in Chikara. Under two different teams and two different names, they have conquered the King of Trios tournament, first in 2011.
Yep.
Which none of the current members of the colony were on that team.
Right.
But they did manage to regroup and re-team again. Green Ant and Thief Ant were a part of the Resistance.
Yeah.
Yep. That climbed the mountain and conquered the tournament in 2018. So now that Chikara is no longer with us, they rebranded themselves. Green Ant became Ultimo Ant, and Thief Ant became Electro Ant, and they have just been tearing it up.
They've been doing
up and down the
all
East
over the
Coast.
place. And then you have the Hawks. They've all been winning belts back and forth. They even said in their message that they don't understand what their beef is. They were on this long break while they were out there. You had Danger Hawk win the PW title. You had Razorhawk win the Dropkick Depression Championship, and held it for almost 2 years. They have been doing work, so they feel like they don't understand what the colony has against them. They don't understand what their beef is.
Yeah, so this iteration of the colony, obviously Electro and Ultimo Ant, teaming with Worker Ant, huge history in the colony.
Absolutely.
But again, as you said, we have the Cyberhawks now, not only winning those championships, but both of them were Young Lions Cup winners in Chikara.
Yeah.
So they've been teaming together since 2018, not only as the Cyberhawks, but also as the Air Show.
Yeah.
Branded as Razor Wing and Mach 10.
Yep.
But last year pretty much changed everything. They Thunderhawk made his appearance.
Thunderhawk came in the fold and brought everyone back together. And
they kind of realized that something was missing there. So they reformed the Cyberhawks, now with Thunderhawk as the third man. So this was originally supposed to be just a normal 6-man tag match, but this is where things went off the rail. And
things got personal.
You alluded to this a little bit. And it all kind of started with what I would call a seemingly innocent promo by the Cyberhawks.
Yep.
But that kind of derailed with talk of Waffle House and seatbelts.
Yep.
And this was not appreciated by the colony.
Not
whatsoever.
At all. Not even a little bit.
It felt like they thought the colony was not taking this seriously enough.
No.
So they took to social media.
And they fired back, man.
Well, they did.
They fired back.
They displayed their displeasure. They brought up the history of the colony.
Yep.
And the lack of respect that they felt from the Cyberhawks.
Yeah, and it's crazy because Ultimate was saying how he had 20 years in the business and that they should respect them, but in countering, Razor said we're almost on the same page. Like there is no
Green Ant started
on the same time
almost the same time as Razorhawk.
So where's the respect there? Exactly,
So again, feeling disrespected, they challenged the Cyberhawks to a Lucha Rules match, which Worker Ant even stated, "Listen, we may have to beat the respect out of you if we have to. Then that's what we're going to do." And of course, responding in kind, the Cyberhawks appearing in front of Attic Brewing here,
right in front,
accepted the challenge, not only claiming that the colony has really done nothing since 2018, but also hoping that the colony can quote unquote keep up with the Hawks.
Yeah.
So
I mean, the Hawks have been killing it. In their defense, in the case of the Ants, they haven't, where they've been.
We've seen a lot of Ultimo and Electro Ant teaming together. They've had some great runs up in Vermont, in the New England states. But as a unit, we really haven't seen them in a long time, and it'll be interesting to see how they get back to trios action. Bringing in Worker Ant, kind of bringing in that historical part of the colony, that link to some of the history that they were not necessarily personally involved in, but it'll be interesting. And Worker Ant, if you have seen the social media posts and videos and whatnot, Worker Ant is really looking good. He's slimmed down, he's lean,
he's ready to go.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a great match. I think this match could really, maybe have a chance of being one of, if not the best matches you see this weekend.
Which trio you got?
which trio do I got? This is a tough one. Normally,
this for you is tough because you followed both of those groups throughout throughout your whole history.
I'll say, I've got a great relationship with Razorhawk. I've got a great relationship with Ultimo Ant.
I will say Ultimo Ant has one up on Razor as he was our very first guest. But I digress. Well, that's points, bonus points.
This is taking nothing away from the Cyberhawks, because I think as a trio, I think they may have more of an advantage, being that they have more of a recent history of tagging together as a trio. But I feel like the Colony is coming into this with, whether it's well deserved or not, it is a chip on their shoulder.
Guns blazing.
They are fired up, and as much as I like the Cyberhawks, as much as I think that they're a great trios team, I think that passion and that fire from the Colony, they've got something to prove. So
yeah, they have the biggest chip on the shoulder, and they want to prove that they still are one of the best trios groups out there.
So I'm super excited for this match, because I think either way, I think we're going to get just two teams pushing each other to their limits, two teams really kind of going all out to show the other team, hey, we're just as good as you.
Yeah.
And I think, I'm hoping by the end of this match that we get back to this idea of, both teams respect each other. Both teams have, been up and down the roads together. And I hope that this is a conclusion to this beef.
Yeah. Squash. Really they kind of move on.
Just kind of came out of nowhere and really turned this into, a Lucha Rules grudge match.
Yeah.
All right. So we've got another singles match on tap here that is really interesting. We've got Colby Carino and Clint Margera.
Yeah.
And we've got two guys who are known for their death matches.
Yeah. Definitely more hardcore style for sure.
Yes, absolutely. Clint Margera coming to us from the UK, which is a lot of fun.
And you got Colby Carino from NWA.
Yeah.
Which is crazy.
Son of Steve Carino.
Yep.
He's a former NWA World Junior Heavyweight Champion.
Yep.
A lot consider him to be the premier junior heavyweight in the indie scene right now.
Absolutely.
Someone we could see on TV someday. And interestingly enough, Colby Carino has a match tomorrow night as well.
Yep.
He's tagging with his Ugly Duckling teammates against Jimmy Lloyd, Gabriel Sky, and the Chad. So he's got a match to think about tomorrow night, but he's got to get through
double duty, baby.
Clint Margera tonight, who, interestingly enough, Clint Margera is the legit brother of former WWE NXT UK superstar and current TNA star Trent Seven.
Oh wow!
Yeah,
look at that.
So a little
fun fact.
Yeah, little connection to some wrestlers in the game.
Yeah,
but 14 years for Clint Margera, and I think that a lot of that experience is going to help him. He's wrestling somebody in Colby Carino who has just been killing it. A number of matches with Deadlock Pro.
Right.
He had a great match with Homicide.
Oh yeah, fantastic
for the
match.
NWA.
Absolutely.
So he's actually been kind of busy as well. He had a brutal match Monday night, a losing effort against Neil Diamond Cutter and Joel Bateman for the Danny Havoc Hardcore title over at Monday Night Death Volume 5.
Woo.
So he had a crazy Monday night.
Right.
So he's coming into this with maybe a little chip on his shoulder.
Yeah.
Like, hey, it's time to get myself back into the winning column here at Clint Margera's expense. Clint Margera, if you look at his socials, one of the things that you'll notice about him is that he is a real student of hardcore wrestling.
Oh, absolutely.
You see it in his socials. You see his appreciation for the legends of hardcore wrestling and where hardcore wrestling got its start and where it came from. And just you can tell that he's a real student of this. So again, this has all the makings to be just a hard-hitting barn burner.
Right.
Like this could really this could really be a crazy match with
absolute
these two.
Insanity.
But
I have a feeling is coming.
It's very possible. If I were to pick, and I mean, we've got, a 6-person match for the number 1 contendership. We've got 8-man tags. We've got 6-man tags. If I had to pick a match on the card that I think could be more insane than anything else here, I really think this one could go off the rails.
But maybe a little bit less insane if you want to go to the next match.
Well,
but insane in a different way. Maybe not so much hardcore, but man, if this isn't going to be match of the night, of the weekend, of the month, who knows? But we have Speedball Mike Bailey versus Paul London, who before we even turned on the air, I didn't even know that he was back. I didn't know that he was still wrestling.
Well,
the fact that he's still going is crazy, and he's facing probably one of the fastest rising stars of the year, if not of the last 2 years.
Yeah,
Mike Bailey.
Absolutely. So it's interesting because we were just talking about Mike Bailey this past Monday on our Raw live stream with ABJ, and we were talking about Mike Bailey, and we kind of gave him, unofficially gave him the nickname Mr. WrestleMania Weekend.
I mean, that needs to stick. Well, because it's true. He's literally, if you look at his schedule, he is literally, I think he's on a show every single day this week.
It's insanity. He's all over the place. He's running professional wrestling shows. He's commentating professional wrestling shows. He's refereeing professional wrestling shows. Like, this guy
knows no bounds. He literally knows almost everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane what this guy does. He's always wrestling. He's got his Twitch channel, which has got tons of great wrestling on there.
Yeah.
He's had great matches with Eddie Edwards, Kushida, Marina Shafir.
The list goes on and on.
He
recently just faced one that we recently had on the show, Sturdy Samastretta.
He did, and that was a banger of a match.
Absolutely.
I got to tell you. Again, another match that you can see on his Twitch stream.
Yeah.
The matches that they're putting on with Fightertainment and doing matches with Captured Lightning.
Yep.
They're killing it. And of course, I mean, Paul London is Paul London.
His name alone, he works for WWE for years. Like, he has that stature already. Like, he has that history.
He's got the credibility, a multi-time tag team champion, a former cruiserweight champion, and now also a trainer at Kayfabe Academy.
There you go. Even better.
There's great, really, a lot to Paul London. Again, a name that is synonymous with good wrestling. A name that is synonymous with high flying, exciting wrestling.
Absolutely.
And honestly, I feel like this is a really good matchup, based on styles and just everything about them screams.
This should gel
chemistry
so smoothly based off of both of their backgrounds, both of their abilities. This has potential to be in my eyes match of the weekend.
Oh, absolutely.
And then we can promptly coin Bailey Mr. Mania Weekend. Let that set in stone for next year and the year after that.
Absolutely. And what's interesting about this, Paul London did a video on his socials where he talked about Mike Bailey, and he said, ever since I first met Mike, when he was a wee martial arts youngster, I knew this kid was a special talent. Excited to put him to the test and test myself at the same time. So I don't think either of these guys are taking each other lightly. I think
not at all.
I think they are ready to put on a show. When this one was first announced, a lot of things for Mania Weekend had not been announced yet, as far as not only these shows, but other shows as well. And just looking at this without knowing anything else about WrestleMania Weekend, I instantly thought to myself, like, this is a match you cannot miss. And again, if you can't be here, if you don't have tickets, if you're not in Philly, independentwrestling.tv, go sign up for IWTV, and you get this match as well as everything else that they're doing tonight and tomorrow night with Euphoria. This match right here might be worth the price of IWTV by itself. Like that.
Yeah, this is the match that you cannot miss.
Yeah, this is going to be special. Well, and talking about cannot miss matches, we've got to get to our main event, and that is the crowning of the first Labor of Love citywide champion. We've got Cheeseburger going up against Weber Hatfield. Both of these guys have made it through the citywide title tournament to get here. So let's look at a little bit of the tale of the tape of these two guys. So you've got the world famous Cheeseburger standing at 5'8", 152 pounds. You've got Weber Hatfield standing at 5'5", 150 pounds. So just a slight height advantage for Cheeseburger. Will that make the difference? We will have to wait and see. Weber Hatfield's got 5 years in, while Cheeseburger is a little more seasoned at 11 years. And of course, we know Weber Hatfield, a very high-flying style. Cheeseburger, I think, due to a lot of his years of working with other wrestlers and trainers, while still doing some of the high-flying stuff, has really adopted a mat technician style. Yeah. But if you look at, let's look at Cheeseburger first. So at 17 years old, this guy joins the Ring of Honor dojo, training under such illustrious names as Delirious and Daisy Hayes. So, I mean, that's just the start of things for him. Through his 10+ year wrestling career, this man has traveled the world. I mean, this man has been in matches for Ring of Honor at Madison Square Garden in front of a full sold out packed Madison Square Garden crowd. This guy wrestled in front of 35,000 plus in the Tokyo Dome in Japan for New Japan Pro Wrestling.
Everywhere.
I mean, this guy has traveled the world, and after 5 years of being an assistant trainer at the Ring of Honor dojo, he went and founded his own worldwide wrestling dojo in 2018 so that he could help pass his knowledge on to the next generation of wrestlers, which, if you look at tonight's show, and I'm sure when we talk about tomorrow night's show as well, there's so many wrestling connections to Cheeseburger on these cards. He always focuses on best ways to maximize footwork and psychology, and just engaging the audience, because those are things that he absolutely excels at.
Right. Absolutely.
He brings to the table knowledge of like very different stuff, lucha libre, traditional American,
everything,
British world of sport. Like, he brings a little bit of everything. So it's it was pretty easy to see how he ended up in the finals of this tournament, defeating such names as Danger Hawk and Dr. Ethan Wilde.
Right. Yeah.
Some big names to get past to get into the finals. And now we have Weber Hatfield, on the other hand, who we've known Weber for a long time, a mainstay in Chikara, really kind of getting his start there. Known for a lot of tag team wrestling throughout his time there, even now on the indies, tagging with Shane McCoy in the Outfielders. But the interesting thing, again, and we've said this before, he is a product of the Wrestling Factory and a product of the Worldwide Wrestling Dojo.
Yep. Again.
So here we have, student versus teacher.
Yeah.
So how is that going to factor in? Is that going to be something where, because Cheeseburger has imparted his knowledge on Weber, is that going to give him an advantage? Or is it going to be one of those situations where, Weber can say, hey, you may have taught me everything but you didn't teach me everything I know.
Right.
There's a real student-teacher dynamic there that I think is really interesting. And Weber and Shea have had some success as a tag team. They've held different tag championships, but we're really kind of waiting to see Weber step up and get that singles gold. Like, it's something that's been in his future. I think something that he's been looking forward to.
Right.
And when we talk about like who Cheeseburger beat to get here again, Weber Hatfield didn't have an easy road either. He had to get through Thick Daddy Andy Brown, which that's a big man to get through.
That's a big boy.
That is a big boy.
The big boy.
And then, of course, not only just the wrestling side of it, but think about the emotional side of things for Weber to have to defeat his own tag team partner in Shane McCoy to get to the finals. And again, I beg you, if you have not seen
go watch those specials, man.
Go watch those specials.
And do it.
You have to see Weber and Shea. It is a phenomenal match. It's it's one of those matches where you look at a tag team and you say, am I ever going to see the two of them go at each other? And what would happen if I did? And we got to see it. And after a very hard fought match, Weber got the victory. So I think this match is really interesting because there's so many dynamics to this match, and you're looking at two wrestlers that I think could easily pull off a victory at any moment because they are both that good. And Cheeseburger is fired up for this match. Cheeseburger put out a video on socials, and he's ready to go. He's ready to win this championship.
They're both ready to win his belt.
Weber's fired up. He's ready to go. You could see the emotion, when he won that match and got into the finals. And again, we talk about we talked about Speedball and Paul London. We talked about how that could, be the match of the night, be the match of the week.
I mean, this could also be match of the night.
Yeah, do not sleep on this. Do not sleep on this match because this is going to be a great match. And looming in the distance, though, in the back of their mind, they have to be careful because how much do you put into this to win the championship, knowing that you've got to turn around and defend it against somebody tomorrow night,
the next day,
the very next day, you are defending that title. So I think it'll be interesting to see, what happens and how much, because both of these guys are fighters. They're not gonna
hold back at all.
They're not gonna put in 50%. They're gonna put in 110. So it'll be interesting to see, just who is able to pull off the victory here. This is, I think of any of the matches on this card, I think this one is really the biggest toss up for me because, again, I feel like these guys are so well suited for each other.
Yeah, it's like a match made in heaven.
They are, they are so entwined together.
Yeah.
Again, student and teacher. Cheeseburger, having a lot to do with training Weber, and just it's such a toss up for me.
Yeah.
I can't even venture a guess on this one. But I will say this:
Cheeseburger.
If I had to pick a winner, if I had to, gun to my head, I had to pick a winner, it's the fans. They're the winners in this match.
That's fair.
Because honestly,
nice swerve, buddy.
No, I look.
You're not wrong though. You're not wrong at all.
I can imagine, when they were putting together the tournament, and they're thinking to themselves, what kind of possible matchups could we see? Who could we see in the finals? How's this all going to shake out? I can't imagine they thought it was going to end up this good, this evenly matched. Both of these guys put on a heck of a show, and it's going to be a great
amazing.
It's going to be a great way to wrap this whole
night one
up.
Night. So at least night one.
Let's just run down the card one more time for everybody if you missed it at the beginning.
Pre-show.
We got a pre-show with Mookie Summers and Ryan Redfield, which should be a great match. We've got a huge 8-man tag. It's Big Calix, the Crusher, Duncan Aleem, and Shay McCoy taking on the team of Kurt Robinson, stepping in for an injured wrestler. Great choice, teaming with Harleen Lopez, Logan Black, and Vita Von Star. We've got our first of 2 6-way matches as the returning Sean Henderson tags with Jimmy Lloyd and the Chad to take on Fresh Air and Jaden Newman. We've got a singles match that should be a lot of fun. Bobby Orlando and LJ Cleary. And yes, Bobby Orlando will be bringing Bobby Jr. with him.
GOAT.
We then have the number 1 contenders match with a little bit of a change.
Remember the swaps.
And another addition.
Big old Travis Huckabee.
So someone's going to punch their ticket to a championship match tomorrow night at Euphoria. Who will it be? We've also got the Lucha Rules grudge match, as I'm calling it. The Colony and the Cyberhawks.
Going to be a crazy one.
They are going to kill it in there. We've got Colby Carino taking on Clint Margera in what should be a hard-hitting masterpiece. We've got match of the night contender and match of the weekend contender, Speedball Mike Bailey.
Ridiculous.
And Paul London just going all out. And then to round out the Labor of Love citywide title tournament, we have the finals in our main event. It is Weber Hatfield again defeating Thick Daddy Andy Brown and Shane McCoy to get in the finals, taking on Cheeseburger, who himself defeated Danger Hawk and Dr. Ethan Wild to get into the finals.
Absolutely.
This is the big one. Again, Labor of Love and Sean Henderson presents two amazing promotions. Just 2 great companies coming together to put on one show here. at the Attic Brewing Company in Germantown. It's going to be a great show, guys. That show starts in about 5 minutes.
People,
that show is going to be starting.
Get on IWTV. Get on it.
That is right. You can head over to independentwrestling.tv and sign up. We've got about 5.5 minutes. So Sean, if you had to pick one match that you're looking forward to tonight, what is it?
I mean, I've been mentioning it all the time. Speedball. I love me some Speedball.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he came from, in my eyes, literally out of nowhere. Like, he just kind of bursted onto the scene and just took the world by storm. And like you said, he's been wrestling all week, doing shows, building shows, being in the matches. The dude does everything, and he really is a talented dude.
Yeah, and Speedball is someone that people were saying, hey, like it was very word of mouth. People would say, hey, there's this guy you've got to see. Speedball Mike Bailey. Like, he does this karate gimmick, and like it's just the whole package is perfect.
His entrance is amazing. I love that he like chops and kicks everyone as he walks out. That's hilarious, and I love that.
It's great.
It's perfect. He's like the total package.
Yeah, and matching him up with Paul London for a dream match. I mean, it's a dream match we never knew we wanted, but now that we have it, like, I'm super stoked to be here to see that.
Yeah.
For me, it's the Chikara dream match.
I mean, that one too. I mean, come on.
For me, being the Chikara fan that I am, just having done Chikara shows for such a long time and followed it, we're getting different versions, more recent versions of the Colony and the Cyberhawks than we may have seen throughout history, but we're getting some great talents in this match. Again, not to discount anything else that anybody else is doing, not to discount any of the other matches on this show, just things I'm personally looking forward to. But I think if you look at this card from top to bottom, they're really, Labor of Love and Sean Henderson Presents are really bringing together sort of the cream of the crop as far as
there really is no one bad match on either card.
No, and we've had some replacements coming in to replace some other people who can't make it, and even the replacements, again, top tier talent replacements.
Travis Huckabee, come on, dude! Like, he was also, like, in my eyes, like a Chikara legend.
Absolutely, and he's stepping up and hopefully calling his shot to get a shot at the first citywide champion. So
that would be a great match tomorrow too.
Yeah. So we've got about less than 3 minutes here again, guys.
We're gonna be going live soon.
We've got Wrestlejawn tonight. That's starting in less than 3 minutes. If you are not coming here to see it live, get on
IWTV.
Yes.
Buy it, even if it's only for the weekend.
Listen, you will not be disappointed. Hundreds of promotions, thousands of hours of wrestling. I mean,
I think there's almost more hours on that than the freaking Peacock on the network.
It's very possible.
It's a lot,
because this is this is really the the biggest of all the independent wrestling streaming services. This is the one you want, because it gets you all of the Mania Week content. It gets you tonight's Wrestlejawn. It gets you tomorrow's Euphoria. You get to see everything we've talked about. You get to see who's going to go after that championship tomorrow, who's going to hold that championship. You get to see it all. And don't forget, as soon as the show is over, we're going to be hopping back on. We're going to talk about what went down. We're going to get you all the results.
We may even talk to some wrestlers.
Yeah, we may have some special guests on. We will definitely have the brand new citywide champion on the show.
That's going to be. We're going to talk to them.
And our very first,
have a little fireside chat.
Yes, our very first fireside chat with the champion. But I cannot oversell this show enough to you. I cannot oversell tomorrow night's show enough for you. We will be back again tomorrow.
Top tier shows. And again, huge shout out to Labor of Love, Sean Henderson Presents, and Billy Avery for allowing us to be a part of this and be on the pre-show and the post-show for 2 stacked shows.
Yeah, this is just it's a great time. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan. It's a great time to be a wrestling fan here in Philly. With the shadow of WrestleMania looming over the city. Some of the biggest, people talk about, like, okay, so where do I go in Philly to get the best food?
Yeah.
Where do I go in Philly for the best nightlife?
Yep.
Well, the question you should be asking is, where do I go in Philly
to get the best
to see
wrestling?
the best wrestling?
Exactly.
Because there's so many great shows going on. So make sure that you're supporting all of the independent wrestling. If you're in Philly, go see an independent show. Go support these guys. They're putting everything on the line for you to be able to entertain you and give you an alternative to WrestleMania.
And guys, we are just 30 seconds away from the big reveal, the big airing of Wrestlejawn. Any last words before we get them into the show?
It's going to be a great show. Have a good time watching the show tonight. If you're going to be here live, have a great time. If you're watching on Independent Wrestling TV, have a great time. And with that, get over to independentwrestling.tv
right now.
Sign up. And folks, we will see you after the show.